The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, make sure you guys smash that like button and definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. And look, we're at a very special location today. Homestead Motor Speedway. Shout out to Homestead Motor Speedway, you know, the local NASCAR track. If you know, you know. I come here quite frequently to just relax because it's a very, you know, there's really nobody here. There's nobody here at Homestead Speedway because there's no races going on. So I come here a lot to just think and figure out what my next move in lives are and things like that. It's a great place to relax for me. But listen, while we're here at Homestead Motor Speedway, I figured I'd talk some boxing with you guys, and I figured I would chime in about Deontay Wilder because, man, oh man, if you didn't hear me say it already, I'll say it again. Deontay Wilder is a fighter that right now for me, as Deontay Wilder the fighter, Deontay Wilder the man, you know, you can have your opinion on that, but Deontay Wilder, the fighter, we gotta respect that guy because Deontay Wilder, the fighter, the boxer, he deserves the utmost respect. He deserves the utmost flowers. I mean, he is a true American warrior. You know, a lot of times I spend time around fighters in the gyms, and I spend time around fighters that talk a lot. They do a lot of talking. They do a lot of blowing smoke off everybody's asses. They'll be in the gym and they'll say things like, oh, well, if my opponent hurts me, if I get hurt in a fight, then I'm willing to go out on my shield. I'm willing to die in the ring. And then when push comes to shove on fight night, you find out that the first time their opponent takes into a deep, dark, uncomfortable place, they fold. They're not willing to do what they said they would do. They're not a man of their word. But the great thing about Wilder is, as much as we criticize him, as much as we made fun of him, he was a man of his word, and I'm not a hater. I'll give respect when respect is earned and when respect is due. And Wilder deserves all the respect in the world. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about his behavior. A lot of people say, well, Deontay Wilder still doesn't deserve credit. He still a disgrace to boxing because he has no sportsmanship for Tyson Fury, who clearly beat him in the third fight, who clearly beat him in the second fight, and who many people think beat him in the first fight. But the trilogy's over, and he still won't show any respect enough to shake his hand. And my thing is this. You know, he is who he is. I can't get angry at Wilder no more. He's shown his true colors enough for us to know who he is. So it's not really for me to criticize him. It's not for you to criticize him. If he wants to be angry and bitter, that's his cross to bear. That's his battle to overcome. It's not my battle to overcome. It's his battle to overcome. But what I'll say is this. The same reason why the same quality that made Deontay Wilder react that way against Tyson Fury and show bad sportsmanship is the same quality that has gotten him to this point in his life and his career where he's making these $10 million paydays, fighting in the most important fights of the year in some of the biggest and most important heavyweight fights of our time in the history of boxing. And that one quality is the fact that Deontay Wilder is stubborn-minded. For better or for worse, for good, bad, or indifferent, Deontay Wilder is a stubborn-minded individual, and he doesn't take no for an answer, even when, you know, he should take no for an answer. He doesn't take no for an answer. And people like that in life, in sports, in boxing, in business, these people are successful. So I can look at Deontay Wilder, and yes, I don't agree with his behavior, and I hope that he can eventually give Tyson Fury his just due. But I understand why he acts the way he acts, and that's what it is. You know, that's what it is. It's not my cross to bear. It's not your cross to bear. It's his cross to bear. It's Deontay Wilder's cross to bear. You know, bitterness doesn't do anything for him. Bitterness doesn't do anything for him. You know, not accepting reality doesn't do anything for him. And look, there's no shame in losing to a fighter like Tyson Fury. There isn't. You know, we're talking about a fighter in Tyson Fury that, when it's all said and done, and the history books is written, and when his career is done, it's very possible Tyson Fury may have a claim to being the greatest heavyweight who ever put on a pair of boxing gloves. I know that might sound crazy to a lot of the old heads out there, but it's the truth. Tyson Fury, I mean, he's still got some ways to go to have a great case to be the greatest heavyweight of all time, in my opinion. But I think he's well on his way. I think he's well on his way, and I truthfully think that there's no shame in losing to a guy like that. And losses like that don't hurt a fighter's legacy. They don't hurt a fighter's legacy. If anything, a loss like that helps your legacy. A loss like that enhances your reputation. So it is what it is, man. There's still big fights out there for Deontay Wilder. You know, I still want to see him fight Anthony Joshua. I still want to see him fight, you know, Joe Joyce, if that could ever be a fight. I'll love to see that fight. There's a lot of good fights out there and a lot of good matches out there for him. And I don't think he should hang his head at all. I don't think his team should hang their heads at all, because I thought he did a remarkable job. Now, there are some adjustments he could make, and I'll tell you this, because I told anybody who would listen, I think one of the biggest mistakes he made coming into this fight was coming in at 238. Him and his team made the same mistake twice. They made it in the second fight as well. They thought that because Tyson Fury was getting bigger, that they had to match him pound for pound and try to be heavier so he can have more weight behind his punches. And I thought it was the wrong strategy, because with Deontay Wilder, the lower his weight is normally, the harder he punches, you know, because the heavier he gets and the bigger his frame is and the bulkier he is, it takes away from one of the attributes that makes Deontay Wilder one of the most dangerous punchers in heavyweight history, and that's his ability to close the gap and close space quickly. So I really feel like they got 75% of their training camp right. They got the game plan right. I thought Malik Scott did a great job in the corner. I think Wilder far exceeded my expectations of being mentally disciplined, listening to the instructions of Malik Scott. I think they got that right. I thought he was more than... I thought he was conditioned well enough to win the fight. I just think the weight, the bulk on his frame, it really it lowered his chances of winning this fight. And that's why, like, I knew the day of the weigh-in when I saw him that he lost the fight. I was so sure of it. I knew he was gonna lose the fight because of the weight. But Tyson Fury's a better man. That's what it is. They boxed 33 rounds, and for the majority of those 33 rounds, apart from the knockdowns, the 4 knockdowns, which is a lot of knockdowns, but apart from the 4 knockdowns, Tyson Fury has shown that he is better than Deontay Wilder. That's just what it is. He's better than Deontay Wilder. And there's nothing wrong with that, because Deontay Wilder got a chance. He got his chance to play his part and be part of something that was truly special in one of the greatest rivalries in the history of boxing, one of the greatest trilogies in the history of heavyweight boxing. And I'll even say it like this, maybe even the greatest rivalry in sports, because I watch a lot of sports and there wasn't, sometimes in boxing, they try to fabricate these rivalries, they try to manufacture something that isn't there. But this was truly a rivalry between the fighters, between the camps, between the fans of both fighters. It was truly something that I really enjoyed, and it's been I've had a really great time covering Fury Wilder and the whole trilogy on this channel. It's been one of the highlights of me covering boxing over these last 6 years or so. So yeah, man, Deontay Wilder, again, my respect goes out to him. My adoration goes out to him. My every positive attribute that I could possibly give Wilder, it goes out to him, because, you know, he definitely earned it in this fight. But yeah, I think his next fight, I would like to see Deontay Wilder get back to fighting at a lighter weight, because, like I said, you know, and this was the same case when Mike Tyson was fighting. When Mike Tyson was fighting, it was the same thing. You know, he sometimes bulk up and he wasn't as explosive or as powerful as he was when he was lighter. And the reason for that is because in boxing, right? And anybody who knows that's sparred in the ring or competed as an amateur or even as a pro, if you've done so much as just spar in the ring, everyone knows that in the boxing ring, speed equals power. Speed equals power. You know, how fast your punches get from point A to point B equals your power. And for Wilder, you know, his punches lacked that extra bit of zip. He didn't have that extra zip that we're accustomed to seeing, and he wasn't able to close the gap as close as you're accustomed to seeing. And I think, and this is only my educated opinion on boxing, I really feel like if he would have been like 225, 223, and fought the same game plan he was fighting, he would have had a better chance to beat Fury, because then Tyson Fury being at 277, Tyson Fury, he would have felt the extra weight, because he would have had to react quicker of Wilder closing the gap. We saw when Wilder let his hands go and threw that straight right hand down the pipe, that steak knife straight right hand. We saw when it caught Fury and it dropped him, we saw what it could do to him. We saw that it was an easy punch to get out of the way of. And I have to, my mind will wonder, and my mind will ask the question, you know, if Wilder was 225, 223, 221, lighter, if he was at his actual real fighting weight, the weight that made him become the bronze bomber, that made him become a household name, that made him a world recognized name in boxing, how would a Tyson Fury reacted to it? You know, it's something interesting to think about. But yeah, if you don't take nothing else away from this video, just take away the fact that Deontay Wilder is, irrespective of his behavior outside the ring. I mean, that's his cross to bear. He's got to deal with that. I don't got to deal with that. You don't got to deal with that. Only he has to deal with that when he goes to sleep at night. It's his cross to bear, so we can't fix him. But as far as Deontay Wilder, the fighter, That motherfucker is an absolute beast. He is a warrior, and he has my respect. And like I said, I've always been a fan of Deontay Wilder. I mean, I've always liked Deontay Wilder. I have said in the past, you can even go back and look at 2017. You can go back in 2017. I made a video saying that I am a Deontay Wilder fan because I'm a fan of boxing, but I just don't like how he's acted in the past when it comes to how his career has moved and the excuses now. But look, this to me was his Evander Holyfield-Riddick Bowe 1 fight where, like, you know, with Holyfield, Evander Holyfield wasn't getting no respect as a champion. He didn't get the universal love and respect when he was cruiserweight undisputed champion. He didn't get the love and respect when he became undisputed heavyweight champion. He only started to get that respect when he lost to Riddick Bowe in the first fight, because he left every piece of himself in the ring in a fight where a lot of people thought he couldn't win and didn't have a chance. So, you know, this is his Evander Holyfield Bowe 1, and he is Holyfield in that sense of the word. But enough rambling from me. You know, shout out to Homestead Motor Speedway. You know, you guys take a time to subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and like I say in every single one of these videos, you could love me or you can hate me, but I'm just Kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.